What's up, everybody? It's Raphael here back for another Ratings Podcast. It's February 8th, 2015, and we haven't done a lot of shows this year so far, but we are working on correcting that. I don't know if you may have heard the last episode that Roy is no longer a part of MMA Ratings as he now writes for Bloody Elbow, so good stuff for him. Congratulations again, if I haven't already put it in before. But there's a lot to talk about today. We have a lot of news from last week, ever since UFC 183 ended. So we have a lot of news to talk about from there, while also looking forward to a very busy week in MMA coming up this week. So where I'm going to start with. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about some of the news that came out last week. I'm not sure if everyone had an opportunity to read my piece on about the and where I went on to get this right about what happened. Obviously, what's going on now, both Silva and Diaz failed um, failed their test in relation to the fight in some way or form. Silva failed his pre-fight test where he was found to have two different types of banned substances in the system, and then Diaz failed his post-fight test where he was found to have marijuana and alcohol in the system as well. So both of these situations are pretty bad to look at. Definitely frustrated me a lot reading about them because I felt like this wouldn't be the fight where it happened. This is pretty bad in multiple ways. First and foremost, the issue was with Silva. Obviously, he is he's an icon in the sport. Many people consider him the greatest of all time, but this is going to really tarnish his legacy. I was reading something on Showdown last week where they basically looked at it as if someone can call into question his entire career now, which was tough, tough to say because he's been fighting for so long and this is his first failed test. But to look back and think that his whole career can be called into question because of this one moment, it definitely puts a black eye on anything he's done. Um, Many people are attributing it to him having to come back from that brutal leg injury, from 2013, and having come back from that and having to, uh, 2014 when he got injured, but having to come back from that loss and also being 39 years old, that maybe he needed something to help him. But if that's the case, then he should have walked away from the sport. Obviously, he's never going to challenge for the belt again if he's properly booked by UFC, but that's a whole other conversation. He's never going to be the world champion, and beating Weidman or any of the other guys that are at the top of the division now. So why is he continuing to do this to himself? In the piece I wrote in the rating, I talked about how the organization should try to quietly convince him to walk away from the sport, like get him to step away and leave our youth in a better position. Don't don't come back to face the questions, to face the animosity that a lot of the fans and probably the media themselves are going to have about this whole situation. He needs to kind of step away and just kind of fade away into the limelight. We've seen other stars across other sports do that. He may leave with controversy, so this won't be the first time. But yeah, I definitely think Silver needs to be quietly not shown, that's the wrong word, moved away from the sport in general in the US. Should definitely take the lead in making that move. As for Diaz, I think he needs to be cut from the organization as a whole. looking for into the failed test. It was almost as if he didn't have a chance to. Not that he didn't have a chance, but he. I was reading a piece, I believe, it was on MMA Junkie about the lead up to his test, and that he was going to be. He knew he was going to fail. That his ratios were almost like double or something like that, and it's almost as if he knew, he didn't care. Like that's almost what it read like to me. And to see that, this isn't his first time, it's his third time having this issue in his career. Once in '07 against Takanori Gomi, and then the other was in 2012 against Carlos Condit. Almost as if like, why are we doing that this anymore? Why are we allowing this to continue happening? So it was not surprising. Um, I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought that they were going to be smarter with how they work with him, but you can only hope that he has better. So seeing him fail in the test wasn't as surprising, but I think that the UFC should cut him. Now they won't, because they know he is a money magnet. He obviously has done big pay-per-views with GSP. I believe the Carlos Condit one did well, and this one here, UFC 183, I believe the reports are this one did pretty well too. So to think that UFC is going to let him go to an organization like Bellator, who would definitely come after him immediately to snatch him up, I don't think they're going to do that in any way, shape, or form. So uh, there isn't any word about suspensions or anything like that that aren't coming out so far. Silva has denied using any kind of substances. Diaz hasn't really made any statements, but his coach, Susie Gracie, does believe he will fight again. So, it's kind of like it's kind of far for the course. It's another situation that we see occurring in the sport, and we don't really know if it's going to change. I personally don't think anything's going to happen to these guys, and that's unfortunate. I was adamant that the UFC should come down hard on them to team. Definitely strong. John Jones issue, all of that momentum was was snuffed out, and they need to do something to kind of get everybody playing in right at this point in time. They need to they need to draw like a line in the sand and let everyone know that this is not something that they're going to tolerate. And what's unfortunate is that the fact that they stopped doing their out of issue as a whole. It's pretty hard to on that, but that's such a big and potentially catch before it gets out of control. Respect on every on the whole. It is a situation where that needs to be addressed in something old fashioned. Even looking beyond that, John said or it came out that he failed his drug test for the Paul Harris fight, and even though he lost and Paul like almost ripped his leg off, that still says a lot, because it's like a bitch, man, Fitch having a hell of a career as well, and now that he's getting to that point where he may be slowing down a little bit, like, is he turning towards PED usage to kind of help him save up? I didn't see what he had failed for, but it was definitely kind of surprising, controversial, this whole collective season. If this isn't this isn't anything new in the sport, but the way it's handled needs to be stepped up. And then UFC really needs to lead the way. I think they need to start with Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz and like just draw the line in the sand and not allow it to go on anymore. Come down hard on these guys from start to finish. It really causes like a black eye on this. Not as I mentioned, this has been going on for quite a while, but it definitely causes an issue because it's come at a point where the UFC had a lot of momentum coming out of January, and now it was done. It's just like they really just hit a wall, and these are major stories that are being talked about all week. Like the Silva Diaz fight was tomorrow as well, the 31st, and this is still gonna be fresh in everyone's mind, especially seeing how they don't have any big events um, in the next few weeks to dissuade everybody from talking about this, except for UFC 184, which is coming up, I think, in March, maybe something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it'll be definitely tough for them to kind of push attention away from what's going on in the situation. But to learn more about what I talk about it, .net and check out my piece on Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz. There's one of the tweets I saw earlier this week, actually two others. The first one was about Uriah Faber. Uh, but injured. He ended up he already had they had one fight in back at UFC 186 in April last year. Excuse me, that was back at it was I can't remember who he beat last year, but Tim Gorman actually. That's who he fought last year, but he only had that one fight in UFC, and I guess I looked at that fight and he said no, which was interesting because he did it as obviously the report is talking about that he felt like he didn't have anything to gain from this fight because no one really knows Almeida, which is true. Obviously, the kid only 23 years old. Favorite is the favorite star within the sport. He's probably one of the biggest names in the lightweight groups. 155 down. So if he brings work, he's on. For him to be this adamant about who he's fighting, I like that. It shows that he doesn't really back away from the big fights. He's also managing his brand, putting himself in a position to make the most amount of money. I'm not mad about it at all. Sometimes I kind of think that was a setup fight for sometimes getting out of the title picture, but neither here nor there because I feel like the UFC matchmakers would much rather like Faber get that win over Sunshine and put himself in position to challenge TJ because they've already said that they would fight if given the right amount of money. So that's definitely expected. That whole card that's going to go down in Rio, Brazil, headed up by Daniel Ryan with Flair, which is kind of tough, because that's not a fight that's not a main card fight, let alone main event fight. So it'll be interesting to see who watches that fight. Uh, Especially with our points, I'm as well. So there are straps on that belt. Be sure that I'm seeing in front of the TV that or in front of the computer actually that they were still and besides what that's going on with the UFC. Obviously, we saw the injuries that affect UFC 184 as well as Chris Weidman, Peter Belfort now off of that card because of Weidman suffering another injury. You know, this is a big set up to be a big year for him. I wrote about that earlier in the year that he has an opportunity to really cement himself as one of the biggest names in the sport if he could stay healthy and if he could stay victorious where he's been thrown out the window with this situation here. Vitor Belfort was offered an interim title fight against, I think it was Lyoto, but he turned it down, which I don't blame him because that's another setup fight. He he could find himself taking a loss there. It would have been a great fight to see, but he could definitely see himself taking a loss there and losing his title shot. So again, if I was a manager, I would tell him to wait as well and get that shot that he deserves, get the shot that he earned. So that's exactly what he's going to do, right on the sidelines and get that money. And I don't blame him in any way, shape, or form. It's good to see fighters drawing the line in the sand and definitely putting themselves in a position where they are putting their best interest at heart rather than UFC's or maybe even UFC fans' best interest at heart, which is very important to the progression of the sport as a whole. You've seen this point happen in many other sports, so I'm glad that we're finally getting there the UFC as well. And there was process and of both um, me during and WrestleMania year they tend to have a sports star involved in the show. Son running off at the mouth, but he mentioned that the order him and the weekend events. They had that Hall of Fame march. And this is a quote from Sunday. I got a call from the WWE, and they said, "Look, we have the Hall. If you want to come out, we want to talk to you about some stuff." And they laid it all out. So that's Sunday's exact words during an off-the-record interview. So just like speculation. Obviously they've worked with Brock Lesnar, who is their world champion now. Ken Shamrock has some background there too. Ortiz and some pro wrestling, Quentin Jackson, Kimo, so many different guys. Never really been successful besides Brock Lesnar, and that's where he came from before his MMA fame. But it's definitely a fun source opportunity for both who won't be competing in high level MMA anytime soon. Um, there's opportunity for both of them to just continue making money off of the brand that they developed for themselves. I'm not sure if many pro wrestling can be uh, per se, but his look and I think would be them. Something obviously heavily run off at the mouth, good enough to potentially he's done that of his career. So it is what it is. But to eventually see if they do have some plans for him and to see if there's a way to work together. And seeing Punk come over from WWE, UFC, and now it looks like these two guys may be going in the opposite direction. Man, that's crazy to think about, but you never know. The bottom line is always about making as much money as possible. And I can't be mad at these guys. I'm all about the athlete making as much money as possible. So boom, they can keep both too. Man, I'm interested myself and see what happens because I am definitely a pro wrestling fan who merged into an MMA fan. That's a long story for another day. So let's look back and let's talk events this weekend. It's a very very busy damn weekend. In MMA we have fights from Thursday to Sunday. Thursday first off, I had almost forgot main event and Josh Hill to show you how tough it is for horses fighting viable names. Cody McKenzie is the co-main event. Think about that. Ultimate Fighter Cody McKenzie is the co-main event on this card. So that'll tell you right there, how well known these guys at this event really are. But Marlon Moraes is fighting Josh Hill, where he will be defending his bantamweight title. Marlon is definitely probably the best prospect, one of the best prospects outside of the UFC. Definitely the best bantamweight prospect that the organization doesn't have rights to at this point in time. So I would like to see him make it to the UFC, but watching him continue to compete at this level, he has to get out of World Series fighting at some point in time. Even though Joshua is 10-0, he's not certain. He doesn't have the name more dangerous. So yeah, he very well there. This this will be his seventh fight under the World Series of Fighting banner. So um, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. I hope he can get another win here, and I hope he can make that jump, man. Drop the title, make it develop, make that jump over to UFC, which is where he deserves to be. I think he can easily be a top 10 guy there. Does he challenge for the title? Depends on which way he's booked, which way he is kind of directed. Obviously it'll be interesting to see him fighting guys like I favor a lot of those tough wrestlers that can score a lot of takedowns and Dominic Cruz. I think it will be difficult for him to face men like that, but he has the potential to earn those opportunities. So I would really like to see him get out of this World Series of Fighting deal and make that leap forward to UFC at some point in time. And it's the most. This is the only value that the show has. One thing you know that let's see what work they can bring. So there may be some guys that you see like so Hakeem Dawodu or Shane Campbell tend to like so or Andrew the guy that that's how you say his name, who is the guy fighting Cody in the co-main event. So there may be some guys who kind of step into the light at the right time and become something to watch down the line. On Friday, 33, which is Melvin Manhood and Shamenko. And to be honest, this is a you want violence, watch this main event type of fight. Even though Melvin Manhood coming off of a loss where he went up Joe Schilling. Yeah, that's right. Him and Joe Schilling went at it for uh, just over just into the second round where he got knocked out, and it was like it's probably one of the best knockouts of 2014. And he's coming off of that right into a main event against uh, Bellator's middleweight champion, I believe. But now one of those fights where with the intention of someone getting knocked out and knocked out brutally. So um, hey, maybe Shamiko isn't the middleweight champion anymore. I just realized that. But shows you how much I pay attention to their organization as a whole. It's unfortunate I haven't really watched a lot of Bellator events recently. But yeah, this is still one of those fights where it's going to be someone who's not clean out. This is going to go to the cards in my opinion. So if that excites you, then you can definitely watch the card for that purpose. I'm also always interested in seeing how well he works. He's had a good moment. He's had his bad as well, but he's fighting Daniel Whiteshore, which should be a pretty interesting fight to see him return to form to kind of get back into the featherweight contention. So let's see what he is able to do come Friday night. But also on Saturday we have UFC Fight Night card where Vincent Henderson is making his move to welterweight to fight Brandon Thatch. And this is a interesting fight to me. I kind of want to watch it just to see what happens. I want to see what Henderson looks like at 170. I've always wondered if he should make that move up. And after getting screwed out of that fight with Thomas Cerrone, as much of a Cerrone fan as I am, I really think that Henderson won that fight clearly. But that's neither here nor there. You can't go back in time, at least not yet. So he was set to step in against Jorge Masvidal a couple months later, I believe in April. But I guess he was offered this fight against Thatch because Thatch didn't have a an opponent. So seeing Henderson move up to 170 is definitely something I want to see. I want to see what he looks like, what he physically looks like. He's a very big lightweight. I wonder how his height will compare like position like McDonald's or something like that high. And then with Thatchman, he had a lot of hype about the way he came into the organization. He's a very violent fighter. He finishes a lot of guys. And in fact, almost all of them. All of his other forms of finish mostly knockouts and some submissions in there as well. So he was definitely a big time prospect when he came into the organization. Has had some injury situations which has kept him out of competition. He hasn't fought since November of 2013. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like coming back into the cage. But I'm probably more interested in see what Henderson looks like. But both guys measuring quick fight. It's one of looking at okay, what is really going to happen here, who's going to go in what direction. So there's some value there. You have Max Holloway and Cole Miller. I was listening to an interview with Cole Miller, but he was really giving respect to Cole. I like to hear that and talking about how dangerous Holloway is and how much better he's gotten over only 23 years old. He won, he lost his first fight against Poirier coming into the UFC. He won 3 straight, then lost 2 against the top Dennis Nunez and Conor McGregor, and then he's won 4 on quite a run. I mean, he's only had 4 fights when he came into the UFC, so he's definitely grown a lot. Hawaii, I think it's Hawaii, yeah. So seeing Max Holloway's continued growth is something that is fun to watch. I think he's someone to keep an eye on in the sport as a whole. Again, this guy's only 23 years old and he's fighting Cole Miller, who has a lot of experience there. I think Holloway is the betting favorite coming into the fight, which I'm not too surprised to see. But I'm looking forward to seeing if he is going to get a win here and kind of not I don't want to say stay relevant, but get his 2015 he started off to a point where initially challenges for the welterweight title, or maybe gets into one of those bigger fights in the the division, kind of put himself in a position to have like a growth like an Anthony Pettis or something like that, or someone who just grows as they continue to get better. And he's definitely one of those guys. I want to see what happens with him and what he does the next time in the cage. Cole Miller is definitely a tough competitor. He's one of those guys who likes to hurt opponents. Someone watch him as well, but he's had some ups and downs in the UFC as a whole. I can't not forget that he's been with the company now for 5 years now since he made that step into the UFC. He's been around for quite a while, so he's definitely very experienced at this point in his career. Looking at the rest of the card, Neil Magny is also someone five times last year. Five and that's more of a opinion. He did his job. Now this is kind of he still has a big name fight. Not at all, Aquino, so he fought 5 times last year. He fought 5 times and won all five, but none of those five came against any ranked opponents. And this fight here is against another unranked guy, but it's an opportunity for him to kind of open up that door to get some more, to get a ranked fight out next, which is kind of see if this guy in his growth compete. So some more can kind of come from there. His opponent has won 3 straight, but again, this isn't someone that is going to draw a lot of attention from all of the mainstream fans. And another thing, I'm not watching it obviously because of that date, but I want to watch it later. But I found it a little frustrating that a card was planned for this holiday. It's almost as if the UFC is saying MMA fans don't have a social life, they don't have girlfriends and stuff like that. Now I'm not being serious, but it was definitely a little stressful to figure out that this event is on Valentine's Day and to know that I'm going to miss it, the whole thing. So, but it is what it is. We all got to do our thing. So, looking at the rest of the card, Nick Lentz is another guy who's competing, tough featherweight guy who he's an example of someone that a lot of people believe Conor McGregor should have fought at some point over his current run, but with him being such a grinding wrestler, a lot of people think he may have been able to beat Conor, or at least frustrate him, see how good he would do against a wrestler. A friend winner is that is the second fight of the card. It sucks. This is such a great flyweight fight. I would much rather see that fight on the main card. I think McCoskey had it too. He was last August. But before that, he had won 2 straight where he was an underdog coming into those 2 fights. So he's a former Bellator champion, and seeing him kind of get shuffled away every second fight in, it really sucks and really shows how like the lack of faith that the organization has in the flyweight division. definitely unfortunate, but that's a fight that's worth watching. These two guys are going to move. Tim Elliott doesn't sit still at all, so these two guys are going to move while the cage is going to be. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the better fights of the night, what these two guys have been able to do in the past. So you have that fight there, which is definitely something to look forward to at the event. So not a whole lot there, but some value to be able to pick and choose through if you are home alone on Valentine's Day and find yourself an MMA fan. But yeah, as I mentioned, there's a lot of action coming through the MMA world this weekend. 3 fight cards from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll do the best I can to catch as much of it as I can, but it's just so much going on. Looking around the rest of the rest of the sports world. Obviously, there's the rumors about the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight being agreed to for May 2nd, which is great, if it happens. I was joking with a friend of mine talking about how we're going to go out there if this fight is actually signed. So we're looking forward to see if this actually comes to fruition. Is it too late? It is later than a lot of people would have liked. Pacquiao suffered some bad losses since then, and Mayweather he's looked like Mayweather is not the great Floyd that we all were accustomed to, but it's still going to be probably the biggest box office for any fight of all time. I heard references of being worth $250 million, um, which is crazy, like crazy to think about. But that's a lot of money to be made. Floyd's gonna make a lot of money. Pacquiao's gonna make a lot of money. I think they talked about a 60-40 split. So there's money to be made there. I hope it happens. I, the betting favorite, I think I already opened up as Floyd. I think he deserves to be the betting favorite. I think he's the best of our generation. But we'll see what happens coming second if it happens. Tonight is also, not sure if you're watching, but over on SureDog you can catch the Gracie Nationals, where there's a bunch of super fights going on. Yesterday was the side of the competition. Today is the IB side, where let's see what we have. SureDog was running the live updates, the live stream, but today I believe is the Nogi side. I know Gary Tonin is fighting MMA vet Javier Vasquez, and he's fought for WBC, so that's a good if you like grappling, that's definitely a guy you need to know. Gary's definitely making himself into a star in the sport, so he's someone worth watching if you have the time to sit around and watch the live streams. Today it's worth watching. Coming up this week, MMA ratings is excuse me. MMA ratings this week is coming. We're going to as much content. I apologize. Yes, in situation with the WWE. I have a couple other story ideas as well, so be sure to check into MMAratings.net. Uh, Sport Deep. Check with MMA or .net. Excuse me. Be sure to check us out there. You can rate all the fights finished for every UFC event. We do Bellator now as well, and we'll stop by